have I covered everything? So you read a lot.
I do a fair amount of reading,
Okay.
but honestly, I don't read as much as I want to. But again, life is, like you said, finding the time to just sit down in one spot and not
Yeah.
have anything else to do and just read. That part has been challenging for me.
Yeah.
So for years, I've had like a running list of to be read, the stuff that I want to read, and then I rarely ever do. So this year, that was actually one of my goals. So I probably so far have read like maybe 12 or 13 books this year. So I'm really happy with that. But I have to take a break from it sometimes because there are other things that I have to be doing. Like in my free time, am I going to read something or am I going to write something?
Yeah.
Or do I want to catch up on my podcast? As a screenwriter, when I'm watching TV or movies or whatever, it's not always just for my entertainment, like I'm studying it. Like, so am I gonna catch up on my Netflix shows? Am I gonna watch this new movie? Like, I'm watching the pacing of it. I'm watching the choices that were made by the writers, by the actors, what kind of sets they're using, the setup of the scene, like how they're filming it, when they're going in tight, when they're paying. Like, I'm studying it. Like, so I only have so much free time.
Yeah.
So I have to decide, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And I try to plan it out in advance. I try to keep it balanced, but it's not. And of course, there's always content everywhere. You can't keep up with everything anyway.
Yeah.
So I've been giving that up.
I say that because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I was wondering, is it a possibility that you could be a podcaster and not listen to podcasts? So I'll pose this question: is it a possibility for you to be an author and not read books?
I think because I know that everybody would normally say no. If you're a writer, you have to be a reader. And I do agree with that, but only to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's a natural innate ability, like there's somebody out there who can just do it.
Yeah.
But I do think that you are limiting your potential no matter how talented you are. Like from the absolute most beginner, the most novice person you can think of to the most experienced, wherever you are on that spectrum, if you're not a reader, you're limiting your potential because it's like the playbook.
Yeah.
You know, like that when you're reading what other people are doing, you're learning from their mistakes.
Yeah.
You're learning from their wins. If they're executing or doing something really well, there's a technique in there that you might want to apply to your own writing.
Yeah.
Their word choice, what the prose is looking like, the kind of characters they're using, the ideas they're coming up with for story, for plot, genre, etc. Especially if you write in a particular genre, there's usually a formula that goes along with your genre. Like the story usually unfolds like this, and then it's your job to make that formula fresh and fun and new. But there's a formula, and if you don't read, you don't know that. So when you're writing it, you're putting something together that a reader would then not understand because they read, they know what the formula is. This doesn't fit, and they probably won't get it. So I'll say that it is possible to be an author without being a reader. But that's not the case for most people because you are severely limiting your potential if you're not reading what's out there.
What's your genre?
Mine is new adult. That's what you read.
Okay.
So that's the genre that is right after young adult, which is like, 12 to 18, I think, something like that, kind of that adolescent time. But it's not into the adult genres who are talking to people who are established career people, grown kids, real serious issues, etc. From leaving college or just going to college to I'm married with some kids, there's a gap there. And so that's the new adult.
Yeah.
You know, that's the, I don't know, person in their 20s or right up to 30 who is just trying to establish themselves as an adult in every aspect, career, relationship, financially, just spiritually, in every way you can think. They're trying to find themselves. So I tend to write in new adult.
Okay. So the What's Next podcast is all about so I was sitting in my mother's kitchen